farm with the appropriate permits and everything satisfied to that end.
Okay. My request remains that this council not pass resolution 79 tonight stating is hereby awarding this contract with respect to NJAC 7:10-11.5 little m. Thank you.
Somebody else is getting them.
Foreman, 123 Augusta Drive. I guess my question is, I received an Nextel as well as, I guess, most of the citizens of Moorestown, saying that you guys were going to give a lot of information out tonight. The first thing I noticed is the superintendent of the wood farm is not here, the director of public works is not here, and
We're talking about this resolution. We're talking about this resolution only right now. We're talking consent agenda resolutions. We are not opening the floor for general comment. Do you have a comment?
It's directly related to this resolution,
Okay.
that we would like to ask the professionals that know the situation about it, and they're not here to answer, which is very unfortunate. And my question is, so, in reference to the solicitor who likes to give advice when not asked, I'm going to ask specifically here. It is your opinion that we have no contractual obligation by passing this resolution tonight? Is that correct?
You're asking a question?
Yes.
The resolution authorizes the execution of an appropriate form of contract. Until the contract is signed, there is no contract.
If the town, refuses to sign it, there is no obligation to Calgon for this. If they read the newspaper tonight and say this was passed, and they go out and make arrangements, you're saying there's absolutely no obligation of this town to pay any money towards them?
We want there to be an obligation on Calgon's part to deliver this equipment because it's needed. And we promised it to the people in the town and they deserve it. So if now you're looking for a reason to mess that up, Bob, then
There you go,
frankly,
there you go, Dan.
shame on
Now,
you.
I've been trying for 2 years, as you know, Mr. Drawless, to do things the right way, and every time you start interrupting and saying false law, that as time prevails, it turns out you're not telling the truth. It's really unfortunate that you don't know that a permit is required for this. So, simply put, I ask council.
You assume that regulation prohibits the entry into this resolution tonight.
I'm gonna ask council, since this is such an important issue, and professionals are not here to talk to, that you simply adjourn tonight's meeting till tomorrow night when the professionals can be here, and you get correct answers, so the council can make a decision with all the information on the table, instead of asking them to make a commitment based on something the engineer said at the previous meeting, which now seems to be contradicted.
I don't see how it's contradicted, and frankly, if this information was so important, it could have been brought to council's attention before tonight. You didn't have to wait till the public meeting to start to bring this to the council's attention.
There you
If it's
go,
so
again, putting the
important, if you know about
responsibility
it, you should have spoken up.
This is the first I'm hearing it. You tend to put the responsibility on the residents to run the organization. It's not our responsibility. We have people that are getting paid like
I hope
yourself
it's not
to
your
do this.
responsibility.
So please don't put it on the residents. It's not our responsibility to do your job.
Mr. Gorman,
Yes.
if I ran a
Councilman.
business the way you suggested Calgon was running their business, I'd be out of business. You cannot, as a business person, read the newspaper tonight and say that there's a resolution that says we're gonna award a contract, and go tomorrow and say, I don't have a contract in my hand, but I know it's awarded, I'm gonna do it. If you ran a business like that, you can't do it.
I respectfully disagree with you. If you pass a contract tonight, giving.
We're not passing a
I'm
contract.
passing
No.
a contract.
You
We're not
are, you're
signing a
passing
contract
it,
tonight.
or,
The contract is not
You're
signed
passing a
tonight.
resolution. You know, I respectfully disagree. I think it's a disservice again tonight, not to have the professionals here that have the answers to the questions. Like I said, you send this notice out saying, get answers here tonight. Where are we getting answers from? The lawyer who doesn't understand what the contract law reads?
Really,
Most
Bob?
of the,
Really?
Mr. Gorman, most of the information you're gonna get is in the workshop that we had to discontinue in order to start our major meeting, the regular meeting at 7:30. And Mr. Garwood said, Mayor Garwood said he wanted to go through this agenda as quickly as possible so that we could get to that part so that you can have your questions answered, and that's what we're trying to do. We believe, well, most of us here believe that this is something we need to move forward for our residents, and we believe we're acting in a very fiscally responsible way.
I would just like to put on record that I did reach out to a council person before tonight.
I'm not sure who that was, because it wasn't me. Okay, so these are the two?
I never talked to them.
Oh.
My name is Daniel Burdecki, 265 North Riding Drive. Is that what you meant? You didn't know who I was?
I wanted to know who, what council member you talked to,
I didn't speak with them because I never got a reply.
and may I ask who it was?
It was not you.
Michael Babcock, 189 Highland Avenue. I agree with Ms. Brodecki. We're in a rush to get this done, award, not award, pass this contract now. We discovered this contaminant in 2013. It's now March, almost March 2016. I'm on property in Maple Shade, and I'm following their water issues as well. Now, Maple Shade discovered the same contaminant in December 2014. They applied for a spill fund, got approval in January 15. Last fall in November, they put their permanent plan in front of the DEP, the way it can be approved to get this thing done. If we were in such a rush, in 3 years. Now we're in a rush. I think waiting a couple days or next week or 2 weeks isn't a lot to ask for. There are a whole lot of other companies that have these filters, I'm sure, not just Calgon.
Monique Begg, 209 Cary Drive. I'd just like to say something positive about 75 and 76, because I have long advocated for people in town who live in substandard homes, really many of which I have visited over the years. And I think it's wonderful that we are going to move forward. I hope on having more affordable housing. Thank you for that.
Seeing no more comments, seeing no more comments from the members of the public, I make a motion to close the floor.
We don't need a motion.
All right, floor's closed. Any comments from members of council?
I have a question, and Scott, maybe you can answer this. As you said, there was a concern that Calgon was in limited supply of these carbon filters.
Yeah,
We
correct.
anticipate will be the proper filters that we need for our permanent solution as well, which is why we wanted to go into this rent-to-own contract.
Right, both of those things are correct.
I didn't ask my question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, if we delay the awarding of the contract, is there a concern that we will not be able to purchase or rent these units? And do we know how long that could delay our permanent solution? Could it be weeks, months, a year?
I think for the permanent use of these units, for the permanent solution, it would be speculation, but yeah, if it takes, because these are, as Russ explained at the last meeting, these are new units. The other two companies he looked at were used refurbished units. If we do delay 2 weeks to the next council meeting to approve this, and Calgon decides that they want to have these go to another potential client, I don't know how long it would take for them to be able to. I'm sure these are 20-ton cylinders. I'm sure that they don't have shelves somewhere so they can pull these off of. How long it would take for them, if it would even render our potential contract with them pointless, if it was going to take that long where we had to look at another company. The other company that we did look at did not offer the possibility of purchasing these units at the end. So again, I don't know this for fact, it is speculation, but yes, it's conceivable that we wait too long, Calgon gives these 2 units or sells or rents these 2 units to somebody else. It could either extend the time that we are able to get any of this work done, or it could mean that we have to go in a completely different direction with another company.
Well, I mean, I'm interested to hear what the rest of council says, but to me, it seems that it makes the most sense to move forward with the resolutions, that we have the option of awarding the contract as expediently as possible. In the meantime, Mr. Drawlis will review with Mr. Trice whether we need a permit. If in fact we do not, or if that can be processed in the amount of time, we'll go forward with it. Because I don't like the idea of holding off on this and then delaying our permanent solution for this problem for an indeterminate amount of time. I don't think that, I think our residents deserve better, and they deserve a firm timeline, which we can give them if we pass this consent agenda resolution today.
Goodness, that any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just go back to the pilot testing, when that was done with DEP, this is the solution that was brought up jointly with them, if I understood that correctly. They are aware that we're moving forward with this purchase. There's been no communication, Scott, that this is
No,
not-
all my communication, and keep in mind, Russ Price is dealing directly with them on the administrative parts of both the temporary, the interim, and the permanent solution. But I've had communication with DEP to inform them that this is what we're looking to do. They are fully aware that this is what we're looking to do, and there's been zero indication that this would be a problem. In fact, and I think DEP was relieved to see that we were addressing issues sooner rather than later at the North Church Street plant.
The only other thing that I would add, and I know we talked about this when we had the official water meeting, and we've talked about it after that as well. I guess I get a little bit troubled when we have meetings and these issues come up here and not beforehand. I feel like we're constantly just a tad bit behind sometimes on these issues, and I think one of the good ideas that came out of the water meeting was having a committee of people like Pete Palco, Daniela, who do this on a daily basis. None of us do that. Go over some of this information with us so that at council meetings we're 100% prepared, so that Daniela doesn't come up at a meeting and say, hey, why don't we have a permit, or is that even an issue? I think it's time to do something like that.
Have a good plan.
I think this equipment is important to put in. I think it's important to put in sooner rather than later, but I'm still believe that we need to make sure everything is 100% solid before going forward. You know?
And we will, and I think that's one of the concepts that I want to really put out there, is that we are not signing a contract or entering into that tonight. We're giving ourselves the authorization to enter into a contract. So we will dot our i's and cross our t's with attorney review, DEP review before this contract is signed and it goes out the door. So, I think this just enables staff and us to proceed with this. It does not obligate us to do this if we find that there is indeed, an issue with permitting or an issue with the ability to execute this contract.
I might also point out that these are obviously acceptable for our permanent solution, as we're planning on using them for that. If we purchase them now, we're under no obligation to install them if there's some reason why we can't.
We're not buying, we're renting.
So renting.
If we enter into the contract now, what I'm saying is, we're not under, if there was an issue, we're at least now contracted to possess the product that we need.
We don't anticipate.
I don't anticipate any problem either. I'm just trying
I'm
to
not even
allay.
sure if this regulation complies, take a look at it. So I know Russ has been working with DEP. We're not gonna do anything with the township's water supply system without DEP's approval where it's required. It's not gonna happen.
And nor would the contract even be signed to do so.
We need the equipment.
Yeah.
We intend to install it as soon as possible, legally and in every other respect. And we also don't want to lose the opportunity to get this equipment because we know it's in short supply. I think that's what we're doing for the people of Moorestown because they deserve it.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda resolutions.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Patty, roll call, please.
Petronello,
Well, I'd like to be able to, I don't know how to do this, I'd like to